Hi guys, West Coast Arachnids. Just doing a update on my cricket farm. I've just finished cleaning out the old tank that was down here, and this is what I've pulled out of there. And these things are already full. What I'm gonna do is clean out their food dish and whatnot, and drill a couple holes in there, small enough that they're gonna be able to get out. I might actually just put a little bit of screen in there. I might just leave it as is. There is a lot of air that gets in there, so unless I see mold, then I'll probably drill some holes. As you can see, I've thrown in here, I've just chucked in a bunch of females and 2 males. That's a male. Tell by the wings on it. There's a male here down this dark one in the corner. Female right there, she's laying eggs. She's laying eggs. That one's laying eggs. The one in the corner is laying eggs. Most of them are. This one is, that one is, that one is. The other ones are just kind of sitting there. I just put these things in here a couple minutes ago. Just picked out a bunch of big females and threw them in there. And what I'll do is I'll rotate these out. I'll take these all out of here. And then put them in a separate container, something like this, just temporary, and then pull a bunch of big females out of here, throw them in there, and then throw the ones that are in here back into the main group, into the colony. That way I'm rotating out the egg-laden females, and they're just going to continually spawn in this container. As you can see, those white things right there, those are eggs. So they have been busy. I mean, they lay eggs constantly once they reach maturity. Hundreds and hundreds of eggs. Problem I've been having lately is not being able to hatch them out. Wrong temperature, soil's drying out too quickly. So I'm trying this. What I found by fluke is when I was cleaning out my S. calceatum enclosure, you can see the water droplets already forming on the sides from spraying it. I had noticed a couple of small crickets, baby crickets, crawling on the log. I thought they were mites at first, and I thought, oh no, I gotta get rid of mites. But they just turned out to be baby crickets, freshly hatched. So they'd hatched out actually in there, because those ones get adult crickets. They're big enough to feed on them. So what they did is they laid eggs in there from the end of time they were in there. Which, as you can see, it doesn't take longer than a few minutes for them to start laying eggs. As soon as they find a good spot to lay them, off they go. Now it's important to keep the soil moist, but not soupy or muddy to the point where, you know, you can pick it up and make a dirt ball out of it. To be kind of this kind of wet and flaky. Yeah, they're doing well so far, laying tons and tons and tons of eggs. What I might do is I have a lot more soil. A lot more. I mean, I've got 4 of these or 5 of those left, and one of those completely fills this to the top. And I have a whole bunch of containers back there. It's so dark in this room. I mean, it's completely light to me, but when I go on the camera, there's no light at all. I mean, you actually need to have photography lights just to get a picture. It's insane. I've got literally 3 lights blaring down into here. It's so bright it's almost blinding. And the camera's turned up all the way on to full brightness. So it looks a little pixelated, that's why. But anyway, yeah, just an update, moving up on these. I'm hoping that putting them in here like this, instead of having them in the small containers, which seem to dry out, I'm going to have them in this, and I'm going to just put one of these lids on there, and hopefully the moisture stays in, and the heat is another major factor, is to get that heat in there, and it needs to stay in there. You need constant humidity, and you see that one there. That's what I don't like to see, is this little guy here. She's digging, and she's digging to eat the eggs. It's a competition. The eggs are laid, they know it, they can sense it, they can smell it. I don't know if it's pheromones, but they will dig up the eggs and they will eat them. So you can see that one there, just pumping away, getting eggs out. See, and then walks away. Now he's moved over an inch and he's doing it again. And they'll just continually do that all over the tank. But these two here are nasty little buggers, and they're chewing up all the eggs. This one here in the corner too. The eggs that were just laid, he's going in there and eating them. Or she. You don't generally see the males doing this. Oh, they might if they're hungry enough. But, you know, the females want their genes out. The males, they don't care. I mean, they run around. You need 1 male per colony. That's it. Just enough to fertilize the females. I've heard that line breeding like that, you know, if you get, basically it's incest, insect incest, that it's bad for the cricket or the mealworm or anything that you're breeding. They'll end up unhealthy, not hatching out as much, all kinds of different problems, which could lead to parasites and mites and all kinds of different things, because their natural immunity is down. And of course, as everybody knows, if your immunity is down, you get attacked by the parasites and the bugs. And that's just the way it is. So, a mixed variety. I mean, if you can get crickets at different stores, might be a good idea to go get a bunch here and then a bunch there. And then take out females from one store and the males from another, and just introduce them together and use the others as feeders. If you're concerned about that, I'm going to probably try that myself. Right now, what I've done with these is I've picked out the largest females in there, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, is just the largest. I want the healthiest, largest females and the healthiest, largest males that I can find. And then I'm going to breed them like that, and hopefully get a strain that is potentially constantly large. This way, once the tarantulas are reaching full size, like the Lazador, pear habana, and whatnot, they're going to have a substantial size cricket to munch on instead of one of these little tiny ones. You know, half the time you go to the stores and you get these tiny little crickets and they're full size, and they just don't cut it. You got to give your spider 3 or 4 of them. I'd rather have a nice big one and just feed them one of them rather than multiple. And they're just taking them all out. You know what? No worries. I mean, for every one they dig out, 3 are being laid, so it's not a big deal. They'll never eat them all. It's a complete impossibility. They'd have to dig them all up. And by the time they attempt to do that, I will have them all out of there and new ones put in. Actually, I might just continue to use different containers and put more soil into each one. Get 3 or 4 of these going at the same time. That way there's a bigger brood in the end. I'll do them, say, a week apart and see what happens. Problem is, that way you constantly have pinheads for your small spiders, and you know, constant growth of different size crickets for all your spiders or tarantulas or lizards or whatever you have. So anyway, that's it. That's my update on the cricket farm. That one's going to get a food bowl. I have to clean them out. They're filthy. This is not the same dog food, but this is, I used to keep my old dog's treats in here, and he knew it. He got hold of it one day and he chewed the lid off, and I kept it. And now I just use it to hold dog food for the crickets. That was 10 years ago or so that we had that dog. He's now since passed. Yeah, so got to clean out the dishes. Fill with one with water, one with food, put one in each corner. I'm going to put one in this corner, one in the corner over there, and then try and build up something that they can get into them. I might just use cardboard tubes. I got 2 small ones in there and 1 large one. So I'll leave the large one like it is and use the other small cardboard tubes as a way in and out of the bowls. But you don't want to get the cardboard wet. First thing's going to happen is it's going to mold, so you need to make sure that that doesn't go into the dish, just goes up there. And this is why I have the rock in there, so that if cricket falls in, he climbs on the rock and can get out. The food bowl, you don't have to worry about it. They'll get out. That's why they got hopping legs. Anyway, we're at 13 minutes, longer than I wanted it to be. So please comment, rate, and subscribe. And bye for now.